Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Happy Sunday. And here's the best part. We're in May. May is where things will really start to bloom in, like always. But this time, you've been wanting for something to bloom in since what we went through last time. So, the time has come, as May is here. So, yep, May has definitely arrived. So for today, I'm doing something new with you, my friends. I'm still doing my poems, doing my poem videos, and you still remember me doing them all the time, which is always good as ever, which is always very good as ever. Yeah, I'm going to try something new to add to my video today, to add into my channel today. So welcome to as I call this right now. Welcome to Denzel's short stories, or should I say Denzel's creative short stories. And for today, I've got a creative short story I'll share with you guys that I wrote, I believe, somewhere around last week. Yeah, the beginning of last week. Yeah. I want to say I finished the story on, I think it was Monday. Yeah, started Monday. So, yeah, this is the beginning of a short story, the beginning of a creative short story. And right now, here I am making a video that you guys can enjoy. So, get ready as I read you a creative short story that I wrote somewhere around last week. Let's see if I can find it. All right, here it is. Before I do, let me tell you what my creative short story is about. The creative short story is about a fellow who is about a fellow. So yeah, I created this one. In this story, I try to ask. I see a girl that hanging out at Barnes and Noble up in West Hartford, my favorite area as ever, and I try to wonder how should I approach her as I try to introduce myself to the lovely darling. I try to think of what I should say, and I think of what I would say to introduce myself to her. But anytime I have something in my head, it disappears like magic, as if I always come across a problem where I have no clue what to say to her. So I do the one I take the I do the one thing that everyone tells you to do when you want to introduce yourself to someone that you've always had your eyes on. Just be yourself, and that's the most important thing as ever. Just be yourself. So, and this story is based on a couple of episodes I've seen on Grey's Anatomy, such as with the George and Callie moment. Yeah. You know, it's in the show Grey's Anatomy. I think I remember when the show was getting first started. I never saw it, but I remember watching reruns where Callie liked George very much. She was really into him, and George, let's put it this way, he's just a scrawny dude who never sees things right in front of him. She really liked him very much. Yeah, Callie liked George so much. She really tried to get his attention to get her. She really tried to get him to notice that she really liked him, and all George did was just keep resenting her. Like he wanted nothing to do with her, and he was mostly like not want to be around. Yeah, he was like he. I felt like I'm not gonna lie. The dude did nothing when he did nothing when she tried to tell him that she really liked him, and all of a sudden just continued resenting her, even tried to chase her away. And then he did the worst part that really stings to a woman, and I feel sorry for every love that always deals with this as ever. He cheats on her with one of his pals, and that really stung Callie, and I felt very sorry for her because she really liked George very much. And I like Callie very much. She was the only character I liked from the show that was not like most girls. Yeah. You know how every dude is when they picture someone in their head better when they picture how I say when they picture a woman in their head when they picture someone in their head, yeah, they always picture someone in their head for someone better instead of the ones they've yeah, if you know what I mean, because this always happens a lot when they play a game called cheat on the woman that I'm with to be with the woman I want to be with. Yeah, it's always the worst part is happening as ever. So yeah. So here I go with my short story, my creative short story. I'm gonna read to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this and see where this goes. It was a glorious Sunday morning in West Hartford as I was spending time at Barnes and Noble, my favorite bookstore, which I love very much. At the bookstore, I saw a lovely darling It was looking at traveling guidebooks in the travel section, like I always do. She was very wonderful, with sweet blonde hair and amazing blue eyes that remind you of the peaceful sky. She was not like most girls that ever do pictures in their heads for someone better, like I was talking about. Yep. The love's name was Sarah, who had just come from the United Kingdom in 2016 to settle in USA for a better life. I wanted to introduce myself to her, but there was one problem that came across me. I had no clue what to say to her, as if I had something that had disappeared like magic. I remember the advice every fellow gives to everyone: just be yourself. The minute I introduced myself to Sarah, a beautiful conversation between us grew while talking to each other for hours. The more we talked, the more we got to know each other all the way, as afternoon started turning into sunset. 6 o'clock had come while getting ready to head home. We said goodbye to each other and hoped to meet again very soon. I said this to myself: the next time I see her, I would love to ask her out on a date. In the first place, I would start with happens to be the movies. There you have it, my friends. That was the creative short story of me trying to ask a lovely darling out, actually trying to introduce myself to her before trying to introduce myself to her as I had my eyes set on her in the creative story. Yep. You notice how I put the whole thing together, like how the day started. I'm at Barnes and Noble up in West Hartford, my favorite area in Connecticut, and I see a lovely darling. I try to ask myself, what should I do to introduce myself to her? I wanted to say hello to her, but there's always a problem where you always find yourself wondering, what should you say? Because you had no clue what to say to a lovely darling, like in this character. So I say to myself, like, take the advice that everyone gives to you, like that every fellow gives to everyone. Just be yourself. And as I went there, as in the story, went to the lovely darling, introduced myself. We talked for hours, got to know each other more. And as we did, it was time to head home. And I told her, hope to see her again someday. Hope to see her again very soon. And I believe in the story she would do the same. And I said to myself, the next time I see her, I'd love to ask her out on a date and see and the first place I would start with would be the movies. The movies is always a good place to hang out at. So yeah. So there you have it, my friends. That was my creative short story of today's the beginning debut of Denzel. Yeah, I'm still doing the poems, like I said. Still doing the poems, still writing it. I will always continue writing my poems as always. Yep. So there you have it, my friends. Today was the beginning of Denzel's creative short story. Yep. And this was number one, to start with the first one I just did about me asking a lovely darling out by introducing myself to her before heading to the next part of trying to get to know, yeah, before heading to the next part, that would happen. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and this was very good. Like I said, I'll still continue writing my poems as always, and you will always see my poems that show up on this YouTube channel on the YouTube channel as always. So I just want to say, my friends, thank you for your time this morning. I hope you enjoyed the creative short story. And I hope to see you guys on the next creative short story. Take care and enjoy your lovely day in the beginning of May.